The SP index is a good measure, but you need something better to beat it. If a business is run well, it will at least keep up with inflation. To beat it, you'd need a huge digital power like the Magnificent Seven. Trish, the biggest digital monopoly in the world is money. In other words, Bitcoin is the best digital network ever. Bitcoin is like Facebook, but for money. Okay, it costs money to use Google. Let's say that all of the world's smart, wealthy people decide they want to keep their money in a bank or online that will never lose value for the next 100 years. Saylor starts by pointing out that the US dollar is stronger than other currencies. He said that most world currencies like the euro, the Swiss franc, and the Singapore dollar are either tied to the dollar or falling in value. The US dollar is what keeps them stable. On the other hand, weaker currencies like the Argentine peso, the Nigerian naira, and the Turkish lira keep falling against the dollar, which makes the dollar even stronger. He does say, though, that even the dollar can't escape inflation. Saylor doesn't agree with common ways of measuring inflation, like the Consumer Price Index CPI. Instead, he says that the SP 500's annual growth rate, which is usually 12%, is the best way to measure how much money is being devalued. This means that the growth of the US money supply M2 is faster than normal inflation rates, which means that wealth is being lost over time. This video has been liked, subscribed to, and post alerts have been turned on. Please take a moment to do these things. You can also watch our other videos about cryptocurrencies and digital assets in general. Please share your thoughts and comments in the part below. For the channel's growth, everything you do is very helpful for the YouTube system. Thanks, and have fun with the movie. If you look at all the world's currencies, I believe the dollar is the best. All over the world, either their currency is weak and falling apart or they use the dollar as their measure. The Singapore dollar, the dram, and the euro are all pretty much tied to the dollar. Most of the good currencies like the Swiss franc and others, they're tied to the dollar pretty closely. Also, the peso, the naira, the Egyptian pound, the Lebanese pound, and the Turkish lira are all falling apart against the dollar. That's right, it looks like the dollar will continue to grow. Of course, there is a problem with inflation. The dollar rate of inflation is not the same as the CPI. The number is not 2% or 3%. The SP index is the best way to think about how money is losing value. The money supply is growing in dollars at the same rate that the SP is rising 12% per year. That means the SP index is probably your threshold rate or the rate at which your investment has to make money in order for you not to lose money. That's how much capital costs. That's a pretty good proxy for the rate of growth of the M2 money supply in the US dollar. So over the past 100 years, the SP index has grown at about the same rate as the money supply of the dollar. To make 3% after taxes, someone might tell you to buy 5% bonds that are worth 3% after taxes. This is the same as underperforming the cost of capital by 9%. Every year you lose 9% of your money. In other words, anything that doesn't beat the SP average will lose you money. What beats it? Anyway, I mean the SP, if you put your money into it and it goes up 10% a year, do you think you're getting richer? Not at all, you're just staying rich. You stay as rich as you are. They are beating it with the Magnificent Seven. The SP may have gone up over the last 4 years, 13 to 14%, and the Magnificent Sevens are up 25 to 26%, which means it's doubling. It's not hard to see that this is wrong, right? People all over the world know that Nvidia, Apple, Google, Microsoft, and Meta are the most powerful companies in the world, so their prices are huge. That is, they do better. Every other stock in the SP does worse than expected. That means that only 1% of companies really make money, while the other 98 to 99% don't make much. Bitcoin is making the Magnificent Seven twice as big. So the answer to the question, what is Bitcoin? Yes, of course. The SP index is a good measure, but you need something better to beat it. If a business is run well, it will at least keep up with inflation. To beat it, you'd need a huge digital monopoly like the Magnificent Seven. Trish, the biggest digital monopoly in the world is money. That is, Bitcoin is the best digital network in the world, right? Bitcoin is like Facebook, but for money, it costs money to use Google. What if all the smart, wealthy people in the world decide they want to keep their money in a bank or online where it will never lose value? They could do this for 100 years, right? Doesn't that make it the best investment? Because every business has some kind of weakness or open spot that can be used to attack it. Each and every other business is charged. They have workers, a main office, and are hit with taxes, fines, and other things. So find me a big tech company that sells a product that everyone wants and controls the whole world. No one can stop, it's you. Also, no one gets it. Bitcoin is what it is. Saylor gives information about MicroStrategy's unique way of investing in Bitcoin. He makes it clear that the company's Bitcoin plan works with Bitcoin ETF, not against it. ETFs are a simple way to get exposure to changes in the price of Bitcoin. MicroStrategy, on the other hand, offers a variety of financial instruments such as high performance stocks and Bitcoin backed bonds to draw institutional investors. Saylor says that MicroStrategy's way of doing business is like an oil factory. In this comparison, Bitcoin is like crude oil. MicroStrategy, on the other hand, takes raw Bitcoin exposure and turns it into refined financial products that are made for different types of buyers, whether they are looking for stocks, bonds, or derivatives. The company wants all parts of the financial market to be able to use and be interested in Bitcoin. After 16 years, 10,000 copies have been made, but none of them have worked. It's the winner, right? All the smart, wealthy people in the world pick this network. It's the bank online. When you get to a place with 10,000 banks, you have a lot of money. The question is, which bank should you put it in? Say, hey, where do you put your money to every smart, wealthy person you know in the city? They all put their money in the same bank. You probably won't put your money in a bank a million times smaller than theirs that only has poor, stupid people in it. It was copied. You know, it's the winner. The word smart money goes to this bank. Will it be against the law? For 15 years, you couldn't know that, but in 2014, the IRS made it official that it was property. They gave the go ahead to a bunch of Bitcoin ETFs in January 2024. It is now owned by almost 100 companies that are sold on the stock market. All of the big regulators have said that it is a commodity and not a security. In that opinion, both the person who was head of the SEC under Trump and the person who is now head of the CC, Gary Gensler, agreed. You know it won't be stopped. That brings us to the third question: can it be broken into? The code to get Satoshi's money and wallets has been there for 16 years and no one has been able to crack it. Hackers could have it if they could figure it out. Code, someone hasn't hacked it. It hasn't been hacked yet because a wall of digital energy, about 730 exahash, protects it. That's more computer power than all of Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple's computers put together. It is the world's strongest computer wall, stronger than any country state can muster, stronger than any business could ever be. Along with the nearly $800 billion that has been put into this bank over the last 15 years and the hundreds of millions of people who have accounts there, it also has almost 20 gigawatts of energy, which is the same as 20 full-size nuclear reactors. 20 gigawatts is more clean energy or electricity than the US Navy needs to run. That's how strong it is. There is a lot of political, economic, digital, and energy power behind Bitcoin, which is why it is really safe. And there's no